Right now, somewhere in the world, a mosquito is landing on someone's skin. They don't feel it. They don't see it. For most of us, it's just another mosquito. But what if I told you that this single bite could carry something ancient, something that's been quietly evolving in the shadows, waiting for the perfect moment to return? What if the next pandemic doesn't start in a laboratory or a wet market, but right here in your own backyard? Meet Chikungunya, the virus that sleeps in silence, bends your body with pain, and reminds us that nature never truly forgets. Our story begins in 1952. In the forests of Tanzania, local communities were struck by a mysterious illness. The victims couldn't stand, their backs bent forward, joints locked in agony, as if their own bodies had turned against them. They gave it a name in the Makonde language, Chikungunya. It means that which bends up, because when the virus hit, standing upright became impossible. Scientists isolated the pathogen, studied it, documented it, and then it disappeared. Not completely, but enough to fade from global headlines. Enough for the world to forget. For decades, Chikungunya became a footnote in medical textbooks, a tropical curiosity, nothing more. But here's what we didn't realize. It never actually disappeared. It was learning, adapting, spreading. By 2015, over 1.7 million suspected cases were reported across the Americas alone, millions more in Asia. Europe saw its first local transmissions in over a century. The ghost from the past had returned, and this time, it brought company. To understand Chikungunya, we need to go inside, into the battlefield, where this war is really fought. The Chikungunya virus is simple, elegant, even, just a strand of RNA wrapped in protein. No brain, no intention, no plan, and yet, it's one of the most efficient invaders nature has ever designed. When it enters your body, it doesn't attack randomly. It targets specific cells, fibroblasts, in your joints, muscles, and connective tissues, the very structures that allow you to move. Once inside, it hijacks your cellular machinery. Your own cells become factories, churning out thousands of viral copies every hour. But here's where it gets interesting. Your immune system, the guardian of your body, detects the invasion. It sounds the alarm. White blood cells flood the infected area. They release inflammatory signals, cytokines, interferons, and chemical weapons designed to destroy the enemy. And they do destroy it. Most of the time, your immune system wins. But here's the cruel irony. The pain you feel, the crippling agony that bends your body, that's not the virus. That's you, your own immune system, so aggressive in its defense that it damages the very tissues it's trying to protect. Chikungunya doesn't kill you. It makes your body hurt itself. But evolution doesn't stop. With every infection, every replication, there's a chance for mutation. A single letter in the genetic code changes. Most mutations are harmless. Some are deadly to the virus itself. But occasionally, one mutation survives. One that makes the virus stronger, faster, more efficient. In 2005, scientists discovered a single amino acid substitution, just one molecular change, that allowed Chikungunya to thrive inside a different mosquito species. A species that lives closer to humans, that breeds in our cities. And just like that, adaptation happened. The virus found a new home, a new highway into human populations. Nature doesn't need years to evolve. Sometimes, it only needs one perfect mistake. We built cities to protect ourselves from nature. We paved the forests, drained the swamps, sealed ourselves in concrete and glass. But we forgot one thing. Nature adapts faster than we can build. Meet the real carriers, Aedes aegypti and Aedes albopictus, the yellow fever mosquito, and the Asian tiger mosquito. They didn't just survive our cities, they thrived in them. These mosquitoes don't need pristine jungles or untouched wetlands. They breed in bottle caps, in discarded tires, in the water tray under your potted plant. They followed us everywhere. In our homes, our offices, even our airplanes, every flight, every cargo ship, every tourist bus, a potential bridge for something unseen to cross continents in hours. And now, climate change is rewriting the rules entirely. Warmer winters mean mosquitoes survive where they once died. Longer summers mean more breeding cycles. More rain means more standing water. More drought means people store water, which means more breeding sites. Mosquitoes that once lived only in the tropics are now found in Europe, North America, even parts of Scandinavia. We built skyscrapers that touch the clouds. We sent robots to Mars. We decoded the human genome, but we still can't stop a mosquito. And the terrifying question is, what happens when that mosquito carries something even worse? Because chikungunya isn't traveling alone. Let's talk about something we often misunderstand. Mutation. In movies, mutations create monsters. In reality, they're just copying errors, tiny typos in the code of life. Every time a virus replicates, there's a chance, a small chance, that one letter gets copied wrong. One nucleotide swaps for another. Most of the time, nothing happens. The mutation is neutral, or it kills the virus outright. But sometimes, rarely, that one tiny change gives the virus an advantage. And here's what we need to understand. Viruses don't mutate to survive. They mutate randomly. Survival is just the lucky ones. Evolution isn't a plan. It's a filter. Nature throws dice, billions of times every second. And whatever works continues. Think of it like an endless chess game. Your immune system makes a move. Antibodies, T cells, inflammation. The virus that survives isn't the one that planned to win. It's just the one that happened to have the right mutation at the right time. Move, countermove, adaptation, response, over and over, forever. To nature, killing isn't evil. It's not even intentional. Death is just collateral damage. The virus doesn't want you dead. It wants to replicate. It wants to spread. You're just the vehicle. If you die before spreading it, the virus loses. If you survive and spread it, the virus wins. This is how every pandemic in human history has worked. Not because viruses hate us, but because evolution is indifferent. And in this endless game, we're losing our queen. Let me tell you about Maria, a teacher from Brazil. She was bitten by a mosquito during her morning jog. 3 days later, the fever hit, then the rash, then the pain. She describes it like this. It felt like my bones were shattering from the inside. Every joint, my wrists, my knees, my spine, felt like broken glass grinding together. I couldn't hold a pen, couldn't lift my daughter, couldn't even turn over in bed without crying. Chikungunya means that which bends up, and now we understand why. The virus targets your joints, the fibroblasts, the synovial tissue, the very machinery that allows movement. But it's not the virus causing the pain. It's your immune system, your body, trying to kill the invader, releases a storm of inflammatory molecules. Your joints swell, blood vessels leak, nerve endings scream. For most people, the acute phase lasts a week, maybe 2. But for some, like Maria, the pain doesn't stop. Weeks turn into months, months into years. Chronic arthritis, persistent inflammation. Your immune system, unable to forget the invasion, keeps fighting an enemy that's no longer there. Pain is not punishment. Pain is your body's way of begging for balance. A signal that something is wrong, that the system is overwhelmed. But balance is something we've long forgotten. Let me show you something. A pattern, a convergence, 3 forces coming together like ingredients in a recipe we never meant to make. First, climate change. Average global temperatures rising, winters getting shorter, summers getting longer. Every degree of warming pushes mosquito habitats further into regions that were once too cold. New York, London, Tokyo, cities that never had to worry about tropical diseases, are now on the map. Second, global travel. In 1950, there were 25 million international arrivals per year. Today, over 1.4 billion. Every flight is a bridge. Every traveler, a potential carrier. A virus that once needed months to spread between continents now does it in hours. They're coming along for the ride. Third, urbanization. More people packed into denser cities than ever before in human history. 7.8 billion humans. Billions living in urban slums with poor sanitation, standing water everywhere. Perfect breeding grounds. Now watch what happens when these three forces combine. Warmer climate expands mosquito range. Global travel moves them into new territories in days. Dense populations provide unlimited hosts. This isn't just about chikungunya anymore. This is the perfect storm for every vector-borne virus on Earth. Dengue cases have increased 30-fold in the last 50 years. Zika emerged from nowhere. In 2015, West Nile virus reached North America in 1999 and never left. And this is just the beginning. Soon, it won't be just chikungunya we're worried about. We like to think we're prepared, that modern medicine has us covered. We have antibiotics for bacteria, antivirals for flu, vaccines for dozens of diseases. But for chikungunya, we have supportive care. That's medical speak for rest, drink water, and hope your immune system does the rest. Pain medication to manage symptoms, fluids to prevent dehydration. That's it. No antiviral drug, no vaccine, nothing to stop the virus directly. Why? Because for decades, chikungunya was a tropical disease, something that affected other people, in other places. Not profitable enough, not urgent enough. It mostly impacted poor communities in Africa, Southeast Asia, Latin America, places without the economic power to fund major research. We prepare for wars we can see, missiles, tanks, invasions. We build bunkers and stockpile weapons, but we never prepare for the wars happening inside us. Our healthcare systems are fragile. A single outbreak can overwhelm them. We saw it with COVID. We see it every year with dengue outbreaks in the tropics. Right now, our best defense, vector control, mosquito nets, draining standing water, insecticides, medieval solutions for a modern threat. But there is hope. Scientists around the world are racing to develop vaccines, studying the virus, building immunity models. Clinical trials are underway. We're learning how to train the immune system to recognize and destroy the virus before it can spread. But here's the question that keeps researchers awake at night. Are we fixing the problem? Or are we just feeding it? Every intervention we create, nature adapts to. Insecticide-resistant mosquitoes, antibody-evading viral variants. It's an evolutionary arms race, and evolution never stops. Let's step back, away from the microscopes and the data, away from the fear. For billions of years, nature has existed in balance. Predators keep prey in check. Plants feed herbivores. Decomposers recycle death into life. Every species, every organism plays a role, not because nature is kind, but because balance is survival. And then we arrived. Humans, the only species that breaks the balance deliberately. We cleared forests to build farms, dammed rivers to power cities, burned fossil fuels to move faster. We reshaped the entire planet in our image, and we called it progress. But nature doesn't disappear. It adapts. It finds new paths, new hosts, new ways to survive. We destroyed mosquito predators. We created standing water. We brought millions of humans into close contact, and then we acted surprised when diseases spread. Here's something we need to understand. Viruses are not enemies. Not really. They're not evil. They're not vengeful. They don't hate us. They're messengers, signals from nature. reminders that we're still bound by the same rules as every other living thing. When we push the ecosystem out of balance, when we destroy habitats and eliminate predators and alter climates, nature doesn't punish us, it just responds. Infection is how nature whispers back. Ebola emerged when we cut deep into rainforests. HIV jumped to humans when we disrupted ecosystems. Lyme disease spread when we fragmented forests and eliminated wolves. We're not separate from nature. We never were. We're part of the web, part of the system. And the question isn't whether nature will survive our changes. It will. Life always finds a way. The question is, will we? But are we listening? So where do we go from here? First, awareness. Understanding that the threats we face aren't abstract. They're here, in our cities, in our homes. Every bottle cap emptied, every container covered, every action to eliminate mosquito breeding sites. It matters. Second, surveillance. Real-time monitoring systems that can detect outbreaks before they explode. Early warning systems that give us time to respond. Third, innovation. Gene drives that could reduce mosquito populations. Wolbachia bacteria that prevent virus transmission. Next-generation vaccines that protect against multiple viruses at once. Fourth, climate action. Addressing the root cause, stabilizing temperatures, protecting ecosystems, rebuilding the balance we broke. And finally, solidarity. Recognizing that diseases don't respect borders, that an outbreak anywhere is a threat everywhere. The virus isn't the villain. Ignorance is. We have the tools, the knowledge, the technology. What we need now is the will to use them, because the future isn't written yet. Not by viruses, not by mosquitoes, not by climate or chance. It's written by choices, our choices. We can choose to see ourselves as separate from nature, at war with it, conquering it, dominating it. Or we can choose to remember that we're part of it, subject to the same laws, connected to the same web. The future we choose will determine not just whether we defeat Chikungunya, but whether we survive the next century at all. Maybe nature doesn't want to kill us. Maybe it just wants to remind us that we're still part of her system, not above it. Because life has always been contagious.